Hey everyone, Adrienne Everheart. I just wanted to make a quick live video about, is your relationship truly real? Is it real in the sense that what you have with a man, or even a woman if you're a man, is actually a real relationship? And one of the reasons I wanted to make this video is because I got a couple of messages and emails, and someone even in my class recently, my Fem Tools for Marriage and Relationships class, she was taking a relationship class with me and had been in a long distance relationship with a man. And one of the first things that I asked her is, how many dates have you gone on? And she said, well, none. We haven't met yet. So often I hear from intelligent women that are in imaginary relationships. Now that's extreme. That's an extreme type of imaginary relationship. I'm going to give you a more subtle way that an imaginary relationship can happen with you. And I'm also going to give you a little test about, am I in a real relationship? Do I have really what I desire in a real relationship? So hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. So let's start with understanding men. Men can have a fantasy relationship with a woman for a good long while. I mean years. And they actually, I always talk about the men that can go in a submarine and stay under the water for 8 years or however that works. And they have that pinup girl on their wall, and that's their relationship. And a man's relationship is often with his colleagues and being important as a man. He can get so into his work and his career and like a long-term goal that the short-term goal of having a woman in your life and a loving relationship is not there. It's just not as important. He's on a quest. He has a bigger job to do. So for those of you who are pursuing possibly a man whose career just isn't in the right place, he doesn't really have his finances situated right, or he's just entering the military, or he just graduated college, or he's in this new phase of his life, don't despair if this man is, the timing's bad. That's just in the forefront of his life. So men can have an imaginary relationship where they just see a woman, any woman, a couple of times a month, or a couple of texts. Women to text with are abundant. There are lots of women out there that will text with a man. And thank you everyone for the lovely comments coming in. There are a lot of women that will text with a guy for way too long and then go, well, he never, showed up for the date, or he finally just dropped off when it was time to meet. So one of the things I do in my Fem tools is that I get you to go from texting, hello, how are you, let's meet. Phone call would feel lovely, let's meet. So texting, phone call, let's meet. Texting shouldn't go on for more than a day or two. All right, so men can have an imaginary relationship. They can live on very little. Talk about living on crumbs. Men can live on crumbs from a woman. They really can, because there are lots of women giving them crumbs. So they put them all together and they make something out of it. Now, can women do this? Women don't even feel comfortable quantum dating. I get you to date, and you wouldn't believe the comments I get where people are like, you shouldn't string one person along and have another person string them along and hurt feelings. We're not even talking about that. We're talking about dating. So women are so faithful-minded. Whether it's the masculine mindset that has got us to be this way, I'm not sure. But we're so faithful-minded that we just start dating a guy a couple times and we want to be true blue. So you see how we're like the reverse of this. We have a hard time having multiple men. We're like, oh my gosh, I'm losing my mind. I have so many men to talk to and deal with. Right, because we're looking at them all as test relationships instead of, I'm just dating you. I'm just finding out if I even am going to like you 90 days from now. The 3-month test, you see. So I want you to just all understand that a woman can have an imaginary relationship with a man that she sees very rarely. and she will just get laser focused and true blue to one guy. She'll have a comfortable relationship talking to him every day. She's not really sure if she's ever going to get married again. She wants to lose 5 more pounds, 10 more pounds. She's not quite ready. She keeps thinking like, oh, there's this place he'll get to. I'm not going to pressure him. I want him to take his time. He's setting the pacing for the relationship. So often women that I find in a situation like this, they are afraid of actually having the relationship be real. They're afraid of that. Instead of putting it right out there, I want to be a wife one day, they're like, I really don't need to get married again. Maybe you don't. Maybe financially you're set, but there are a lot of reasons to get married, and they're not just, to have that piece of paper. There's a lot of reasons. I don't want to digress, but we get into this mindset that a man is coming around just enough that we're pretty happy. We're pretty happy with how he's showing up in our life. Now, there are women who will be happy seeing a guy about once a month. I have clients that are absolutely in love with a man who comes around once a month. I have women who are in love with a man who gives them booty calls once in a while. But he happened to drop by your house that one day and bring something to you. We must be in a relationship. So I have a little test for you all about how to test if you're in an imaginary relationship. And I want you to just become aware of, is this a real relationship? Or am I doing what's safe? I'm doing what's safe because in reality, I'm so horrified of getting hurt. So I do this other thing instead, and I call it a relationship. Listen, you're talking to the queen of fantasy relationships. I had fantasy relationships that lasted years. And I was, dating other people, but I had these other people on my back burner that gave me some emotional comfort in my life. Now, that's one thing, but I had no intentions of anything ever going further with them. Some previously I had, okay? So I want you to understand, there's pen pals. There are people you can chat with that you're never going to meet in your life. And they're a source of comfort for you. And then there's like, I'm in a relationship. My needs are getting met, so here's the test. Number 1, do you go on dates? Do you go on dates? And this is for all you ladies who are in long distance relationships too, where you've met a guy a couple times, long distance, you've gone to his house, he's gone to your house. Now what? Do you go on dates? Dates meaning he picks you up, you go out, you have a nice time, you meet for coffee, you go to a park, you go to a zoo, you enjoy some meals together. They are dates. Real, face to face, smell each other, maybe kiss each other, regular dating. I have a belief that you have to date someone for about 3 months for them to either stick around or start to bail. And I don't think you should get committed to anyone until you have dated them for 3 months. Because month 1, they're going to be like, please, baby, please, I love you. Month 2, they're going to be taking you on a trip. Month 3, things start to change. So I'd like you to just see if you can go for that slow burn for 3 months. So are you going on regular dates? Number 2, is he meeting your needs? Is he calling? Is he there for you? Is he offering support when you get sick? When you have bad news? Is he too worried about his own bad news? Or does he also listen to you? Now look, guys are not the greatest at therapy. There's a reason you want to have your girlfriends or your mom or someone to talk to. But he should be able to offer a minimal amount of support and understanding, even if you just need a hug at the end of the day. Are you getting that from him? Are you getting regular sex? If sex is important to you, but you only see him once a week, he picks you up for dinner, he goes, gets completely wasted, and then can't make love to you that night. Are you in that situation? Are your needs getting met? Are you happy? That's the biggest question. Not happy like future me will be happy when this all works out, but are you happy now? Right now is reality. Not, well, in the past he made me real happy. He's come over a lot. Are you happy now? That's where it all starts. Okay. So if you're married and not happy, you're in a different boat. You're not dating anymore. If you're married and unhappy, you got to work on your marriage. You got to work on what it means to be committed to someone and loyal and committed. You really learn what loyalty and commitment means when you're married. And check out my Femme for Marriage class. All right, so I'm going to take a couple of questions about this. If you feel like you're in any sort of fantasy relationship with a man, if a man isn't coming around enough for you, maybe you need some ideas of what to say, what to do, how you can really get your value to this place, release some of these fears that are holding you back from just saying, yeah, I want a loving, long-lasting relationship that leads to marriage. Be able to say that on the first date even. There's nothing wrong with that. First date, meet a guy. Hi, how are you? You're never going to see him again. All right? Maybe you will see him again. Someone asked me, when will I be taking new clients? Oh, that's wonderful. You've worked on yourself and you're dating others, and you need to get some resolution. So I will hopefully be offering monthly FEM classes where I just take a small group and we have a live class so I can group coach. I found out everybody really learns best when you're all together. So just stay tuned for that. It'll be rolling out pretty soon. And thank you for asking. I'd love to work with you. Someone said, how do you get out of fantasy relationship? Great question. If you are realizing that this is not a real relationship, but a relationship of the imagination, it feels good. Okay, it feels really wonderful. However, go through that test. Am I getting my needs met? Am I having regular communication? Am I in his life? And this goes for you girls who are unfortunately involved with a married man too. Is it real? The best way to get out of it is before you give that guy his exit papers, I want you to go and date some other men and get one or two guys that you like okay. Because they're going to cushion the absence of that man going away. There's nothing wrong with this. I don't want to have a lot of comments where people are like, you should not tease someone's heart along. It's an imaginary relationship we're talking about. Okay? Start dating some new men you like, okay. I want you ladies to know the power of walking away from a relationship. When you're dating a man and it just feels okay, and you've gone on 5-6 dates with him, and you're just not feeling it, you've given it a try, I want you to feel the power of going, you know, you have been great company, but I don't feel we're a match. And then you turn and you walk away. I want you to know this power. There's nothing wrong with giving it a go with a person and trying. You got to get used to that power. Masculine mindset has you in a world where you should date one guy, be faithful until he dumps your butt 8 months later. And that is not reality. That is a mindset you've been born into. And I'll get a lot of comments from women in Europe who go, that is just not how we do things over here. We'll change. Someone has to change. Look at our country, how much change we have gone through with women and taking their power back. Okay, I'm off that soapbox. Let me move on to another question. Let me see here. Someone had a question right after the one about how do you get out of the relationship. So get your cushion, and then you just tell them you've been great company. We're not a match, and you got to get that person out of your life because they will be like a virus. They will keep coming after you and reestablishing connection with you because it's a little bit like what is it? Not hypnosis, but brainwashing. Where if you're getting all this contact all the time and it's coming at you all the time, you get addicted to it. It's very difficult to quit fantasy relationships. Someone said, my question, won't sleeping with him make me too attached to him? Isn't it better to wait till the 3 months are over? So that's up to you. If you're the type of girl that you will get very, very attached to a man, from sleeping with him, don't do it. Don't do it. I am the type of person that I could never like have a one night stand or, something like that. It has to be a relationship for me. But there were, men in my life that, different times that I was having regular sex with, and I knew it would probably not work out. But they were Mr. Right Now. And I liked them, but there was always this flaw that would keep me from really, really falling hard for them. A lot of times that flaw was because I knew my husband was out there and it just wasn't that person. I knew what my husband looked like. I knew who I wanted him to be. I have a very powerful program called New Man Manifesto, which teaches you how to create your man. Okay? I hope that answers your question. If you can't do that, don't do it. In another person's country and culture, there's no such thing as dating. If you meet someone, you like them, talk a couple of times, and immediately go into a committed relationship, and you're stuck. I hope you're not stuck. I am familiar with your culture. It is a little bit different. It's more like a law, I believe, where you're at. This is a little different than a lot of other places. And that's where you have to just take this 3 months chunks at a time. 3 month chunks at a time. And you know what? You can do that too. Anyway, anyone listening to this, there is a theory about circular dating. I do something called quantum dating. There is rotational dating, where until that man says, I want to marry you, you keep dating other people. So I found this to be particularly flawed. At some point, Jeff had come back into my life, my husband. We weren't married yet, and he said, I want to be with you. And I said, well, until an offer's on the table, and I do believe in saying that, until there's an offer on the table, I'm going to keep my options open. I kept dating other guys. But it was BS. It was BS because this man loved me. He loved me, and he was ready to give it a go. He wasn't ready to say, hey, will you marry me? We had to reconnect. So in the ABCs to get him back, I teach a program. I teach you how to get your partner back, but reconnect. The reconnection process lasts about 3 to 6 months. That is with previously established relationships. But if you're dating a guy and it's going really good and he's past the 3-month mark, if you want to be committed to him for a little while, give it a go. Just put it on your calendar so you don't end up calling me 2 years later and say, well, we're still dating 2 years later. Get committed to him. Stay committed to him for about 3 months. So that can work for any of you at any time. You can do that method as well. Most of us don't have a man coming at them wanting long-term commitment. They just want kind of a temporary commitment where while they're fascinated with you during the first 60 days, they want you to be all theirs. Meanwhile, you get incredibly emotionally invested. You sleep with them. You think you're going to live the rest of your life with them. And then somewhere around the 90-day mark, they lose some interest. And that's going to happen naturally. Losing interest is going to happen really naturally. Okay, I'm going to take one last question. Let's see here. He told me he loves me and he wants to be with me, and he calls every day. Always wants to see me and everything, but I have not allowed him to be mine. Should I let him be my man? Well, that sounds like it's going really great. However, has it been past the 3 months? Is he still doing that 3 months later? Or is it gonna start, slowly, less and less? So here's the thing. All relationships are, expanding and contracting, expanding and contracting. And even my husband and I, we will have a time where we have a little tiff, and then we'll go a couple of days. It's a little quiet around the house, or a couple of hours, or whatever it may be. And we come back together even stronger. So this is just a normal part of relationships. However, when you are already all in with a guy, when the guy pulls back around that mark, we usually go into a full-fledged panic. I have a client recently, the guy said, that's it, it's you, I want to marry you, it's you. And now it's been about 4 months later, and he's like, marriage is an empty promise. saying I want to marry you is an empty promise. You see how that story changed? So this is why you want to go for that slow burn and make sure you're keeping your options open energetically, even for those of you who do not want to quantum date or cannot quantum date. Keep your energy open to all men. Receive arrows everywhere you go. I took my bike ride this morning. Every single guy that passed me gave me a wave. Even guys walking past me gave me a wave and a hello, because I'm inviting it in. I'm inviting it in. So have that energy to you. Keep that energy coming at you, and you will feel up on your pedestal. You'll feel up here. You'll feel high quality, even if your guy's being flaky and hot and cold. And I think I'm going to be releasing a video in a couple of days about how to love yourself through a hot and cold man. All right, all you amazing people, thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you have taken away some valuable information about giving your relationship a test. Check out my programs. The links are going to be below, and they're also in my other videos as well. Make sure and subscribe to me. That's how I know you like me and like my content. And please do give me a thumbs up. You're very welcome for those of you who I got to your question. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your weekend and week, wherever you are in space and time. And I'm sending you much love. Mwah. Bye.